Of the worst in the nation.
A new report out today says 53% of major roads in the Tucson urban area are in poor condition. KOLD News 13's Paige Hansen joins us live with more details. And Paige, this really doesn't come as a surprise for all of us who drive the roads.
A lot of people we talked to today agree with you, Dan, and this report outlines everything. It's called Bumpy Roads Ahead, and a lot of people we talked to today say they're not surprised to learn that Tucson is ranked 5th worst in the nation when it comes to our roadways. Now, here on Speedway and Stone, you can tell that there are lots of people out on the roadways. These ones don't look that bad. A lot has been fixed over the years, but there is still a lot to be fixed. So today, local leaders got together to look toward the future. They say it's clear the roads are not in the best condition now, but that investing in and maintaining our roadways is essential to economic prosperity and job growth, both now and down the road. The report outlines the problems, things like potholes and rough roads, and what we need to do to make change. Well, any change will, of course, require additional sources of revenue.
If we're going to attract new businesses and expand the ones we have, transportation infrastructure is key to doing that.
I don't mind paying more if we eliminate the waste.
ABC4's Tony Ginyard explains that bumpy ride comes at a cost to you.
The dips, the cracks, the uneven pavement on surface streets and freeways define Southern California roads. And according to a just-released report, car owners are paying the price. One reason?
Huge potholes. I mean, big enough to where my car it would sink down and my tire would actually hit it. And my struts are bent, so I have to spend I think it's like $400 to fix.
TRIP, the National Transportation Research Group behind the study, found drivers in LA, Long Beach, and Santa Ana are spending $832 a year in car maintenance. They're spending $638 in Riverside, San Bernardino, and $421 in Lancaster and Palmdale, all because the roads are in disarray.
I'm not surprised at all. No, I'm not. I mean, where does all the money go?
Money, the study concluded, is key. Researchers say federal funding will be cut in fall of next year. They urge Congress to earmark more money to transportation projects nationwide.
I feel like I'm swerving to avoid potholes an awful lot.
The International Roughness Index was used to assess deterioration on highways. It's one way of gauging the problem.
And here's another. The LA County Department of Public Works takes a visual approach to evaluating roads, and you don't have to look far to find a problem.
Problems the study determined can best be patched with increased federal funding. In Hollywood, Tony Ginyard, NBC.
For your commute to work tomorrow, $800. That's how much damage Oklahoma City roads are doing to your car each year. Good evening, I'm Keisha Henry. The experts say a fix is on its way, but will the government shutdown shut the plan down? The story is first on Fox Tonight.
I broke a tie rod. I've lost a couple of tires to debris on the road.
I actually have cracked a wheel and got a couple flat tires from them.
It costs a lot to maintain a road. If you don't maintain a road, it's going to fall apart.
And your car will too. The National Transportation Research Group found nearly half of major roads in Oklahoma City and Tulsa are in poor condition, costing the average driver $782 per year in maintenance.
Shocks and struts and tires. Yeah, I can believe that.
I'm sure that it costs more than $800, especially in terms of time, because time you can't get back.
Our lawmakers, they need to probably allocate a little more money towards our road system.
Bobby Stem, the executive director of the Association of General Contractors, says in November, Tulsa drivers will have a bond issue to vote on.
And that'll put over $700 million of road and bridge fixes on the street. Oklahoma City has got some bond issue money that they've passed in the past that they need to just let to project and get out on the street.
The money is on its way, but Stem says the government shutdown could have an effect on the process.
So many of these projects have some tie to federal money or some tie to a federal approval. Maybe it'd be an EPA approval before you can begin project on a certain part of the road.
He says the sooner the government is back up and running, the sooner these roads will stop having such a costly effect on your car.
If they shake it up and get it all done next week, we'll probably be fine. If it goes longer than next week, we're going to have issues.
Now, to see where other cities rank on the list of bumpy roads, just visit our website. That is okcfox.com to see that full report.
Nearly 75% of Cedar Rapids streets rate as poor to mediocre when it comes to their current conditions.
And supporters of extending the city's local option sales tax to fix the streets hope those ratings reinforce their arguments for the November 5th vote. The nonprofit transportation group called TRIP tracks road conditions nationwide. It released its figures on Cedar Rapids streets today. They show that 48% of Cedar Rapids streets are in poor condition. Another 25% rate as mediocre. KCRG TV 9's Dave Fransman joins us now live from Cedar Rapids. And Dave, do these street rankings have a connection to the upcoming vote?
Bruce, most certainly. Now, the option tax supporters in Cedar Rapids didn't pay for this kind of research we're talking about, but they did cover the expenses for one of these group members to come to Cedar Rapids and to talk about what those numbers mean. Now, whenever you hear Cedar Rapids drivers complain about all the potholes and the problem streets, it's not just the imagination. The streets here are in worse shape than you find in some other cities. The TRIP organization recently completed a survey of city streets nationwide. It included cities of 250,000 population or larger. One associate director of research said if Cedar Rapids were on the list, the city might have made the top 10 of worst streets. And the cost impact on drivers from repairs and vehicles losing value quicker is enormous.
Each Cedar Rapids driver is losing about $700 each year because they're driving over rough roads, and that's significantly higher than the national average, which is somewhere in the $300 range.
Cedar Rapids Mayor Ron Corbett says the city right now is spending about $18 million a year on streets. Switching to the 1-cent local option tax would add another $11 to $12 million a year to that road budget. Option tax opponents who are organizing now say they agree streets need work, but have trouble trusting current city leaders.
There's so many things that can go wrong. The council can change its mind. New people come in and say, well, we really need this for this. It's very important.
Option tax supporters point out the use of the money is spelled out on the ballot, and it says streets. They'll also hear the argument about money wasted on other things instead of streets, and they're ready for it.
They're just going to throw out a bunch of rhetoric here and demagogue the issue in the last couple days of the campaign. There is no way that we were going to be allowed to take some money that we would have spent on the Paramount Theater and put it in the streets.
Now, should Cedar Rapids voters approve the current 1-cent local option sales tax would be extended for 10 years. Now, that extension and the money going only for streets would start when the current option tax expires, and that would be next June 30th.